Hello everybody, and welcome to my Goreclaw deck tech. I am Matthew, and we're gonna go over why Goreclaw is going to smash those Thopters, break down those walls, and why he is just the best bear around. So, Goreclaw, terror of Qal Sisma. Those of you cons lovers out there, I'm sure you've already noticed that Qal Sisma is actually an area in Cons of Tarkir. Winds of Qal Sisma? Hello. Goreclaw is 3 and a green for a 4/3 legendary bear. I know, it's not a 2/2 for 2, but it's okay. He's got some fantastic abilities on him. He reads, creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 generic mana less. That's fantastic. There's a lot we can work with there, but there's this other ability, a bit more important. Whenever Goreclaw, Terror of Qal Sisma attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. Oh my gosh, that is a mini overrun built into your commander. You don't need to search for that overrun, you've got Goreclaw. And so, first, there's a few things I want to talk about with Goreclaw. You're going to be wanting to be casting creature spells, but not like those huge bombs, not those 10, 11 mana spells. No, we don't want Eldrazi, we don't want Ulamog. We're going to be wanting those 4, 5 cost spells that have power 4 or greater. That way you can be netting a lot of creatures. With heavy creatures, we want to draw cards, and we're in green, and that is green's way to draw cards, having powerful creatures. Then third, we're going to talk about winning the game. How do you win the game if you got a bunch of butts, but somebody keeps blocking with their stupid Thopters? So that's what we're going to be discussing. So first and foremost, this deck is very mid-rangey. It's not ramp, 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 then drop your bomb. No, it's still rampy, but we're going to be taking advantage of Goreclaw's mana reduction. And so, we're going to be using cards like Alpine Grizzly, another bear, and from cons, Flavorful. Alpine Grizzly is 2 and a green for a 4/2. So if you have Goreclaw out, that is a 1 mana 4/2, and it's on flavor. Second, we've got a card called Wayward Swordtooth. It is 2 and a green for a dinosaur 5/5, and he allows you to play additional lands on your turn. Just 1 additional, that's important. Unfortunately, he can't attack or block unless you have the City's Blessing, but we're going to be pumping out a lot of creatures. We will have the City's Blessing. Next, we got a card called Vorpede. This is 2 green, green, green for a 5/4 insect with Vigilance and Trample. So with Goreclaw out, this is a 3 mana 5/4 with Vigilance and Trample. That's fantastic. Next, we've got a card called Mere Superion. Anthony's not the only one playing with artifacts. Oh no. This is a 2 colorless mana for a 5/6 Mere that reads, spend only mana produced by creatures to cast Mere Superion. But he is 2 less, so we can cast him for free. That is value. Next, we've got another card from Cons, Dragons, more specifically. It is Sirach the Hunt Caller. It is 2 green, green for a 5/4 human warrior. Except he's a little bit more special. He has Formidable. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if creatures you control have total power of 8 or greater, target creature you control gains haste until end of turn. So if you're casting Sirach, you most likely have Goreclaw out, which means you have 9 power on board. So you can be giving hasty to all of your creatures, like our next one, Ghalta Primal Hunger, which is 10 green, green for a 12/12 Elder Dinosaur. And now, 12, I know I said we weren't going to be dropping big old bombs, but this one's different. It reads, Ghalta Primal Hunger cost X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. Oh, and he's got Trample, which is beautiful. So if he costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control, and you have Goreclaw, that right there, just having Goreclaw out, he is 6 less to cast. That's great. That's what we're looking for. Next, we've got a wonderful card called Wolfir Silverheart. and this card is just so great. It is 3 green for a 4/4 Wolf Warrior with Soul Bond. And as long as he is paired with another creature, each of those creatures gets +4/+4. No, that's great. That's phenomenal. Make Goreclaw a 8/7 and Wolfir an 8/8. You can do that all just for 3 mana. That's tasty. Next we've got Yeva, Nature's Herald, 2 green for a 4/4 Elf Shaman with Flash. Now this is really important because it says you may cast green creature spells as though they had Flash. Your entire deck is green creature spells. Your entire deck just got Flash. Thanks, Yeva. Now those are the sort of value creatures you're going to be looking for. Again, these aren't 9 mana 10/10s. This isn't an 11 mana Eldrazi Titan. These are all just value creatures. And now, if we're casting all these creatures, we're gonna be empty-handed very often unless we have some card draw. And thankfully, green's card draw, again, revolves around having powerful creatures, like Triumph of Ferocity. This is 2 and a green for an enchantment that reads, at the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power, or tied for the greatest power. You will be controlling the creature with the greatest power, trust me. We've got Garruk's Pack Leader, which is 4 and a green for a 4/4. So that already means this guy's only 3 mana. That reads, whenever another creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. So basically every single card you drop on the battlefield that's a creature, you'll be drawing a card. Next we got some redundancy to that. We've got Primordial Sage. That is 4 green for a 4/5. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you may draw a card. Then we've got a wonderful card. It is Greater Good, 2 green, and I know this card is a bit expensive, but it was just printed in Battle Bond and got a huge price reduction. It's an enchantment. It reads, sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. If you have something like Ghalta on the battlefield and somebody just, I don't know, Olive Dusts, and you have to sack it to Greater Good and draw those 12 cards. That is just such good value. Next we've got a card called Regal Force, which is 4 green, which seems expensive at 7 mana, but it's actually only 5 mana. And it reads, when Regal Force enters the battlefield, draw a card for each green creature you control. Which again, we're going to be casting lots of green creatures. That's a lot of card draw. Next we've got a wonderful card called Shamanic Revelation. It is 3 green for a sorcery that reads, draw a card for each creature you control. That's great, that's what Regal Force does. That's amazing, but it reads Ferocious. You gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Normally, I would never recommend life gain, but if it is incidental life gain, absolutely. Next, we got not sort of card draw, more card advantage, and also ramp. It is Growing Rights of Itlimoc, 2 and a green for a legendary enchantment that reads, when Growing Rights of Itlimoc enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it in your hand, then put the rest on the bottom of your library. This is great if you're looking at your hand and you don't have those creatures that you want to be casting. That way you can dig a little for it. But wait, I also said mana ramp. And that's because it says at the beginning of your end step, if you control 4 or more creatures, transform Growing Rights of Itlimoc, and it turns into Itlimoc Cradle of the Sun, a legendary land that taps to add green to your mana pool, or taps to add green to your mana pool for each creature you control. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is budget Gaia's Cradle. I don't own a Gaia's Cradle. This is my Gaia's Cradle. So, we're drawing all these cards. We have all these wonderful creatures in. How do we win if they keep trump blocking? Well, we do have our Commander Goreclaw, which gives everything Overrun. A mini Overrun, a little baby Overrun. What if he dies? Well, that's fine, because we're still running Overrun. 2 green for a sorcery that reads, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. So we're going to be wanting to run a lot of those effects. So we're running Overwhelming Stampede, does the same thing. We're gonna be running Triumph of the Hordes, does the same thing except better because it gives your creatures Infect. And when you're running these powerful creatures, even if they block all of them, you just wipe their entire board, even if they're indestructible, because it gives them -1 counters. That's phenomenal. And of course, we're running one of my favorite cards, Stonehoof Chieftain. And now this is probably the most expensive card you'll be paying for, not money-wise, but mana-wise. It is 7 in a green for an 8/8 trample indestructible Centaur Warrior. It reads, whenever another creature you control attacks, it gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. That's awesome. And then we are, of course, when I said, how do we win? You were all yelling at the screen, Craterhoof Behemoth. Of course, you run Craterhoof Behemoth. But that being said, if you can't afford a Craterhoof, or if you can't find a Craterhoof, all these other options still work, so you don't need Craterhoof to win. But again, you're playing mono green, you put Craterhoof in there. Next we've got Kamal Fist of Krosa, which is 4 green for a 4/3 legendary human druid. He reads, activated ability for green, target land becomes a 1/1 creature until end of turn. It is still land. In this deck we don't care about that. We care about the next ability, which is 2 green. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. That's Overrun on a body. So you can do that not once, not twice, a billion times if you have the mana. Then next, we have something that isn't an Overrun effect, but is more a combat trick. It is Mossbridge Troll. And this is 5 green for a 5/5 troll. It reads, if Mossbridge Troll would be destroyed, regenerate it. That's awesome. But it also reads, tap any number of untapped creatures you control other than Mossbridge Troll with power 10 or greater. Mossbridge Troll gets +20/+20 until end of turn. So we've got a 25/25. That's phenomenal. Especially when you combine that with a card like, I don't know, Greater Good, draw 25 cards. That seems like value. And now, of course, our commander giving that reduction is phenomenal. But we want more. We always want more. So we're going to be running cards like Emerald Medallion, 2 mana for an artifact. Green spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And then of course we're going to be running Rona's Monument, 3 mana for a legendary artifact, which says the same thing. Green creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. But it also says when you cast a creature spell, target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample. This is the best of both worlds right here. And now if you find yourself at a problem, you're dealing with some guy who keeps creating Thopters and like 80% of his entire deck is artifacts, well, don't worry, you've got the perfect answer, and that is Bane of Progress. This is the bane of all progress. And now, here's the thing. This is one card to deal with it. There are so many more in green. There is Reclamation Sage, there is Acidic Slime, there is so many options in green. But if you want that big board wipe, you're going to be wanting to running cards like Court of Calling, like Fierce Empath, like Green Sun Zenith. Those cards to maybe fetch the Bane of Progress. And now, if you also find yourself a problem with walls, well, you can always break down those walls with Trample, and Overrun, and Overwhelming Stampede. So I don't think walls are a problem for this bear right here. That right there is the deck tech for Goreclaw, our not-so-bear commander. He is the embodiment of green, and what you want for green, you're going to be wanting to play creatures and running over stuff. That is excellent. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Matthew from ManaClash. I hope you had a great time. See you next time. I would just really like to thank our sponsor today, Gorilla Tape. Thank you so much. You really helped me find my place in life. If you'd like to be our sponsors, please let us know. Shoot us an email right here at this email. It's also in the description. or you can just shoot us an email. Anyway, if you want to like send a funny picture of a Goreclaw that you drew, here's mine, right there. I know, phenomenal artist. So thanks for the love. Again, like and subscribe if you like Goreclaw, and make sure to ring that bell right there. That way you can get ready for the mana clash when I crush those Thopters, break down those walls. It's gonna be great. See you then.